Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Ado About Nothing. And this week, we're heading to Modern to blow up some lands. We are sinkholing with extra steps with the help of Boom Bust. We're playing Boom Bust Boros, so let's talk about the deck, jump into some games, see it in action. Alright, so here is our Boom Bust Boros deck, and we're essentially a land destruction deck. If you know anything about the history of land destruction in Magic, you know that the best land destruction spell, also the first in Sinkhole. Sinkhole, just 2 mana blow up a land, is so good, Wizards has never put it into Modern. Well, our deck is essentially trying to build a Sinkhole with extra steps, with the help of Boom Bust. So Boom Bust, the bust side is just a 6 mana Armageddon, blows up all the lands. The front side, 2 mana, destroy a land you control and when your opponents control. So this is Sinkhole's mana cost. The problem is we also have to go down a land, but we got ways around this. The main goal of our deck is to use Boom with lands that don't mind being blown up. Flagstones of Trokir. When it goes to the graveyard, we get another land on the battlefield. Cascading Cataracts, Rustful Bridge are just indestructible. So with the help of these lands, we turn Boom into an actual Sinkhole. Like, we don't lose a land, our opponent does lose a land. So we have an actual straight up Sinkhole 2 mana land destruction in the Modern format. Since we have all these lands that like being blown up, we also have Cleansing Wildfire, which is just kind of an absurd card with Flagstones or Cataracts or Rustful Bridge. We get to blow up a land, but we don't really lose a land if it's indestructible. We get to tutor a basic into play tapped, and we get to draw a card. Cleansing Wildfire, in conjunction with any of these lands, essentially becomes a red rampant growth that also cantrips. Really strong. Also ramping us into our finishers, just a really great card. Then we have our other land destruction stuff. Pillage can just blow up a land. Then we have Karn the Great Creator, which can snag Liquid Metal Coating out of the sideboard to turn our opponent's lands into artifacts, so we can +1 Karn on our opponent's lands, turning them into 0/0 creatures, which die. The other upside of Liquid Metal Coating is we can turn anything into an artifact. We can also do this with Liquid Metal Torque in our main deck, but this allows us to use Abrade to kill Planeswalkers, or use Pillage to kill Tarmogoyfs and Death Shadows and Ragavans, so we can just blow up anything once we get one of our Liquid Metal cards going. For finishing the game, we got Nahiri and Emrakul. The idea is we blow up our opponent's stuff, kind of slow down the game. Nahiri, uptick it twice, get to the ultimate, tutor out Emrakul with haste, annihilate whatever's left of our opponent's board, and hopefully just win the game on the spot. Otherwise, Seasoned Pyromancer, Valakut Awakening, keep us churning through our deck. Fury, Chalice of the Void, give us some more interaction. Mana base, we already talked about all the good stuff here. The rest of it, pretty much just mana fixing. In the sideboard, we get a bunch more Karn tutor targets. Graveyard hate, we have Pithing Needle for Planeswalker hate, more Chalices and Snaring Bridge, Wormcoil to gain some life. Sanctifier really good against the Rakdos stacks and the Grixis stacks that are popular. Some sweepers, timely reinforcements for burn style aggro decks. Chandra Awaken Inferno to get through counter spells, and that is Boom Bust Boros for Modern. That's our Bunch of Brew deck for this week. So let's jump into some games, see if we can sinkhole some fools, see if we can get some flawless victories in Modern. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap up. Do you need some new Innistrad Crimson Vow cards? Well, you can get them all from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, by heading over to cardkingdom.com/MTGGoldfish and even get a free MTG Goldfish sticker. Just let them know you want one in your order notes, and they will hook you up. Much Ado About Nothing time. We are booming and busting in Modern this week, blowing up some lands. We've been trying to mess with people's mana bases for a little while now. The Blood Moon plan is pretty good, but this time, no Blood Moons. We're just straight up blowing up lands. Do we keep this? Emrakul is a dead draw. We do potentially have the ability to ramp into Karn. We can Cleansing Wildfire the Cataract. I think that's fine. I mean, we only have one Emrakul. It's a Nahiri target, but if we find Nahiri, we can discard the Emrakul anyway. I mean, Seasoned Pyromancer can do it too, so I think it should work out all right. I like the Cleansing Wildfire start, and maybe our opponent's Tron, and we just get to get them. Okay, or maybe we're about to die to Living End. We need to find a Chalice of the Void, and we need to find it basically now. We have like 2-ish turns. I assume, please take the Emrakul. I assume our opponent takes the Karn, because Karn could, theoretically, it's probably not fast enough, but theoretically it could get Graveyard Hate, which would be good against Living End. I mean, I'm assuming this is Living End because they're playing Grief before making their land drop, and also Street Wraith. All right, opponent does take the Karn, so definitely it's got to be Living End. Street Wraith plus Grief with no lands and no shenanigans into Steam Vents, definitely. Well, that's another Karn, definitely Living End shenanigans. Tap land, go. Is there any way we can mana screw them? Like, is there any point in trying to Cleansing Wildfire our opponent's land? We could just draw the Chalice, that would be the best. or a tap land. So they should have basics, so I don't think we mana screw them. So I mean, I guess our plan is Cascading Cataracts, Cleansing Wildfire the Cataracts, get a land. Oh no, there's ugly plains. Oh no. Take a mountain, draw another land. Oh, not feeling great. Not feeling great about where we're at. Our opponent's probably going to be just fast enough. They'll play draw difference, opponent, Botanical Sanctum. So we can Karn to try to get a... Well, I mean, I guess right now they only have a Grief in the graveyard, which we can just... That's actually kind of fine. Maybe this will be fine. Shardless Agent. Wow, they just going to run out the Living End and get back the Grief? All right. I mean, this is kind of okay. Like, that is not a very good Living End. They can take our Karn again, but all they're getting is a Grief and a Shardless Agent, which is surprisingly beatable. Opponent passes. More Cleansing Wildfires. Ugh. Well, I think we just Season Pyromancer, discard Emrakul and tap land. Shuffle in Emrakul. Tap land, go. I mean, this isn't bad. We can actually just block. And then we have the Nahiri. The Emrakul's back in our deck. It is pretty rare that you survive a Living End, but our opponent just did not have they didn't have the fuel for it. They didn't have enough creatures to make it a very good Living End. Opponent land goes to combat. Attacks. Well, I mean, we will double block the Grief. Actually, do we want that in the graveyard? We might not. Let's just single block the Shardless Agent. We don't mind getting stuff in our graveyard, because that means if our opponent Living Ends again, we actually get value out of it. Opponent passes. Tap land. So we could play the Nahiri and get rid of the Grief, but it could get countered. Like, if our opponent doesn't have cycling cards, their hand has to be lands, Force of Negations, and I don't even know, lands and Force of Negations, I guess, maybe more Griefs. Like, there's not much else that could theoretically be in our opponent's hand other than Force of Negations and lands, maybe some Living Ends. I guess Cascade spells, I don't know. Do we want to run out the Nahiri or do we just wait? Let's play Flagstones and just blow up the Flagstones. Draw a card, do some ramping. Get a Plains, get a Sacred, oh, there's a Chalice. Get a Sacred Foundry tapped, Chalice on 0. Yeah, I mean, I guess we hit you for 1. Oh, this is kind of maybe working. Get in with Elemental. So now our opponent can't Living End again. So our opponent's going to have to try to do this the old-fashioned way of casting their cycling cards and beating us down. All right, here comes the Cyclers. But our opponent has to deal with Chalice and... Well, let's Abrade the Grief. Opponent passes. Go to combat. Hit you with the Elemental. Do you need a treat, Bearby? Here you go. There you go, buddy. No? Yeah? Maybe? There. Oh. Sorry. Bear wanted a treat. At some point, we got to play this Nahiri, right? And if they force a negation, they force a negation. Nahiri. We don't have anything else going on, so yeah, here comes the force of negation. Well, Rustvale Bridge, go. Opponent untaps. So I guess there is a world where our opponent Brazen Borrowers the Chalice into Cascade. We would still like to, we need to find another finisher. Basically, a Karn to sweep the graveyard would be good. Karn to get Ensnaring Bridge would be good at this point. Emrakul. All right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Halfway there. Halfway to the... How do we keep drawing this Emrakul? We had it in our opening and we discarded it and shuffled it right back to the top, apparently. Opponent. Architects of Will. Waker of Waves. Oh, I keep getting the feeling that we might be in trouble. Like, our opponent's shifting through their deck so much, it doesn't seem impossible that they find, like, Brazen Borrower, Bounce, Cascade, get back all this stuff, and then we get back the Season Pyromancer, which does help a little bit, but then we're really up against it. More cycling. I don't think we want to exile the Season Pyromancer. I think we need... Wow. Oh, so much card. They're going to hit it eventually with this amount of card draw. I don't think we want to exile the Season Pyromancer. I think we got to save it in case our opponent does get to... Oh my god. In case our opponent does get to Living End. Hit you with Elemental. Well, hardcasting Emrakul's not really on our possibilities list, but opponent cycles. The other thing is, by the time that they actually do this, they could also have... All right, there's a hard casting. They could also have another counter. We really need to draw a real card. All right, let's see if this resolves. Or do they got another force of negation? Karn. Take down Karn. The question is, what are we getting? Liquid Metal Coating's too slow. Ensnaring Bridge is kind of appealing. We could also just deal with the graveyard with Relic. The problem is the Karn's gonna die. I think we take Ensnaring Bridge and just play Ensnaring Bridge. This way, if our opponent does bounce Chalice in Living End, they can't immediately just murder us. And it means we probably get another Karn activation because this Curator can't just kill it. Like if our opponent bounces Ensnaring Bridge and kills Karn, we're kind of okay with that because then they don't have a bounce spell for the Chalice. We might be to the hard casting your dredgers part of this matchup. Opponent, cycles, scries. I mean, our opponent is really good at digging through their deck. It is still not impossible that our opponent gets out of this. I think our next step is getting Graveyard Hate. Chalice, Graveyard Hate, and Bridge. Ooh, Nahiri. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, you know what? How do we do this? Let's take down Karn. What do we want to resolve more? Graveyard Hate or Nahiri? Yeah, let's play Nahiri. Resolves. I'll tick it up. Discard the Emrakul. Get it back in the deck. Please don't draw it again. Shuffle everything in. This does mean we lose the Seasoned Pyromancer. Karn. Tick down. Yes. Relic. Play it. And opponent's done. Oh! We survived a Living End. Okay, that actually went pretty well. Not often that you survive a Living End, but we actually managed to do it. The question is, how do we hate on this deck? So this only exiles black and red creatures, which means Architects of Will, Grief, Street Wraith. That is something. Fury's not especially, well, yeah, Fury's not that good. It's a card we can get in the graveyard, but I think we want both Wraths. Both Wraths for sure. We probably got to leave our Graveyard Hate in the sideboard for tutoring purposes. We could bring in Sanctifier and back. It might... Does it do enough? I don't even know if it does enough, honestly. We might actually just be going down land destruction. Like, this doesn't feel like the best land destruction matchup. Our opponent only needs a couple of lands to win the game. Maybe we're just going down the boom bus. We're on the draw. So at best, we're blowing up our opponent's second land. We are kind of built around boom busting though. Red source, flagstones. I mean, maybe it's worth it. The nice thing about like Abrades and Pillages is they can kill other things with Liquid Metal Torque. Although like killing your opponent's stuff is not a super legit plan against Living End. Like the problem is your opponent they go so big when they go big. I think our recipe for winning is more or less like last game, although possibly maybe we bring the Relic in the main deck. All right, go down 2 boom busts, go down to Pillage. Wait, is this deck playing? Is this a 62 card special? Why are we playing 60? Oh no, I see. These 2 ugly lands were not supposed to be in the deck. No wonder we were drawing so many lands. Ooh, all right, 62 card special it is. Yeah, let's run it like that. Well, maybe this is a new meta. Maybe the deck did not play enough lands. Oh, 2 Furies, Boom Buzz, Cleansing, Wildfire. We got the Relic. This is actually kind of an okay hand. We're gonna keep Opponent. Yes, hand doesn't look bad. Botanical Sanctum. Are we getting griefed? Not yet. Well, Sunbaked Canyon and a Relic of Progenitus. This does mean we don't get to do anything next turn unless we top deck. But I think getting down the Relic on turn 1 is worth it. Opponent. All right, Force Negation. Sure. Answer number 1. Opponent cycles. Well, we'll see. We will see. We will see. Opponent plays a land. Passes. Tap land. Oh, this is a wild plan, but I think Fury, exile Boom Bust. I think we just got to get Furies in the graveyard. I think that's the plan. If we get Furies in the graveyard, it makes it difficult for our opponent to do much of anything, because then we get the Furies back. So Fury goes to the graveyard. Fury, exile Cleansing Wildfire to the graveyard, and pass the turn. We could go one more, but that seems really risky. Opponent untaps and land. We would love to just draw land and Seasoned Pyromancer. That'd be the best. Well, all right, Cleansing Wildfire, not exactly that, but we get to Cleansing Wildfire, Surge up a land, draw a card. All right, opponent's gonna force a negation. Sure, passes. What a weird game. Opponent land, cracks it. If they play Curator Mysteries, we probably got to Fury it. Yeah, Curator. Opponent passes. Oh, do we? Or can we just Seasoned Pyromancer? You know what? Sunbaked Canyon, Seasoned Pyromancer. Discard a Fury, draw 2. Really good at drawing this Emrakul. Opponent untaps. Gonna hit us. Sure. Down to 12. I mean, this might actually work for our opponent. We spent our Furies to stop a Living End, but that means we don't have them to kill our opponent's stuff. Flagstones. Go to combat, attack you. What a weird way for this game to go. Hit ya! Seasoned Pyromancer in Friends. Opponent down to 15. I mean, I guess we destroy land. Gonna need to draw an answer though relatively quickly. Blow up the green source. Down to 11. I really wish we'd stop top decking the Zemmerkle every single time. About it. Oh, what a world. Pass the turn. Hitting the green source is relevant. Like hitting the green source means our opponent can't cast their cascade spells, really. Although I don't think our opponent's casting their cascade spells this game anyway. So we need to draw an answer to this Curator Mysteries, and we have 2 turns. Well, okay, let's see if our opponent has more counters. Karn. Tick down Karn. Get a bridge. Go to combat, hit ya. So we're actually gonna need to draw an untap land here. We'll see what our opponent does, but we're probably gonna need to draw an untap land here. Pass the turn, opponent goes to 12, they untap. If they hit us, we go to 1 and we can't tap to Sunbake Canyon, which would mean the bridge might get stuck. Opponent. Going face, untap land, off the top, magic gods, please. All right, Cascading Cataracts, Ensnaring Bridge. Go to combat. Oh, I guess we could have attacked for 1 more, couldn't we? Oh yeah, that was a little punt. Little punt. I mean, if our opponent can bounce the bridge, they get us anyway. Tick down Karn. Get, I guess, Liquid Metal Coating. All right, are we dead? Do you have a Brazen Borrower or something? Opponent. I wonder if that Fury line was right. Okay, so opponent has an answer and we're dead. Sure. I wonder if that Fury line was correct. I'm honestly really truly not sure if that's correct or not. Well, I'll run it back. Like, we probably would have died to Living End had we not pitched the Furies for no value. But by pitching the Furies for no value, we ended up dying to a Curator Mysteries that we couldn't kill. I don't know. I don't know if that was right. It was definitely interesting. All right, so what we really would like is just to win the die roll. This is a good ramp hand, but what are we ramping into? Like, we have turn 2 Cleansing Wildfire. You know what? We're gonna keep it. See what happens. We don't have like our Chalice or anything though. Mountain, go. About it taps. Botanical Sanctum. Passing. Oh, Flagstones. Blow up the Flagstones. Do some ramping, draw a card. All right, opponent going to force, sure. Boy, we're gonna have the same question as last game, aren't we? Do we pitch Furies or do we hold Furies? Opponent cycles Street Wraith, Spire Bluff, and passes. Well, I wish we had another red source. Well, Flagstones, blow it up. Drawing a Chalice would be most optimal. Grab a Mountain. Oh, Nahiri, that's not what we wanted. A Sacred Foundry. Flagstones, go. All right, well, if our opponent cascades right now, it's pretty bad for us. Doubly, triply bad for us. Quadruply bad for us, so we're probably dead. Hey, Bearby, that's pretty loud, bud. Opponent passing. Now, I assume they cascade with this trigger on the stack. Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay, well, we will discard 2 Furies. Play Sunbake Canyon past the turn. Interesting. So our opponent apparently did not have the Cascade spell. Now if they cascade, it's not the end of the world because we get back the 2 Furies. Opponents. Are they still going to do it? They really should have done it before we discarded, I think. The Furies in the graveyard help. That wipes out at least 2 of their threats. And it gives us double striking blockers. Opponent. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Sure. So our opponent living ends. We lose our Seasoned Pyromancer, but we get back 2 Furies. We will wipe out the Flyer and wipe out the Street Wraith. I mean, this is pretty fine for us. This is actually like super fine for us. Opponent. Sure. So they set up the top of our deck with Architects, but we have multiple ways of drawing cards, which is fine. Opponent gonna go to combat. Attacks. We will block and block. I mean, I feel like we're winning this exchange. So a bunch of stuff dies. Maybe they're just gonna try to do it again. I guess the second one's kind of better for them. We draw. Seasoned Pyromancer. All right, go to combat. Attack our opponent. 4/6. Opponent takes it. Seasoned Pyromancer. Discard and discard. Chalice on 0. Opponent probably has to counter this or cascade. Force a negation. Well, that means we get to play the land. Blow up the Flagstones. Yes. Get a Plains and more Nahiris. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. We have a pretty full graveyard. Not as full as our opponents, but we don't just immediately lose if they living end. We get back a Fury and double Seasoned Pyromancer. We would lose both Nahiris. Opponent passes. Sunbake Canyon. Well, go to combat, attack you. See what our opponent does. Here comes living end number 2. All right, so Like we sack Sunbait Canyon. We want to get as much information as possible. Okay, here comes a living end. We get back a Fury to kill the flyer. We get 2 Seasoned Pyromancers. Opponent first sets up the top of our deck. I mean, we're kind of out living end. Like the idea of living end is to break the symmetry. Like you're supposed to benefit from the living end. We've been able to break the symmetry so far. Discard a Nahiri in a Plains. Draw an Emrakul. Discard an Emrakul and a Sunbait Canyon. Everything shuffles back in. Opponent loses the flyer. We play Nahiri. Tick it up. Discard the Abrade. Sunbait Canyon. Go. Are we just winning this fairly? Is that what's happening here? Opponent. Waker of Waves. And now we have a Karn to get graveyard hate. The third living end would be pretty bad for us. Minus the fact that Karn can get an answer potentially. Land. Opponent. Passes. Liquimetal Torque. Well, take up Nahiri. The third living end is the one I'm worried about. Discard Torque. More Nahiris. Karn. Opponent cracks. Is it Cascade time? Oh my goodness, are they still gonna get there? Karn. Take it down. So if we get Tormod's Crypt, I think we gotta get Bridge. Yeah, we gotta get Bridge and play Bridge. If we get a graveyard hate spell, then our opponent just cascades in response and we probably lose. And we might as well attack with a Seasoned Pyromancer. If our opponent kills it, that's actually kind of good for us. All right, opponent takes it to 6. All right, let's see what happens. So opponent needs living end plus Bridge answer. Breeding Pool. Tapped. Opponent. If we get rid of the bridge, we get to just win with Emrakul from Nahiri. I'll sack the Canyon, draw a card. They can still living end instant speed. How do we do this? Karn. Take it down. Get Chalice. Chalice on 0. Sunbait Canyon. Nahiri. Get... Are we going for the win? So we can like abrade our own ensnaring bridge or attempt to and just annihilate for lethal. How does this go wrong? So our opponent could Force of Vigor. They would need green card, Force of Vigor, Violent Outburst. That is what would beat us. Force of Vigor away both answers. The other way this goes wrong is we could just take Relic and force our opponent's hand. So if we take Relic and force our opponent's hand, then the Force of Vigor, green card, Violent Outburst hand beats us. If we go for Emrakul, if our opponent just Force of Negations the Braid on the bridge, that's awkward. We could Fury. Each option loses to something different, which is making this tricky. I'll take Emrakul. We're going for it. We're just going for it. Emrakul, Abrade Ensnaring Bridge. Oh no, Bear, what are you doing, bud? That's a lot of water. Oh my God, Bear. Oh, that's like a gallon of water. Oh, you better drink that all. Go to combat. Do they have it? It looks like no. Attack? Annihilate? Oh, we got there. 62 card special for the win. Maybe we accidentally improved the deck. That was good. That was real good. Well, we had to think a lot about the best lines there, but it worked out. Sweet, sweet. And now I got to clean up this gallon of water. Bear be knocked over. Be right back for round 2. Much brew about nothing time. We are trying to boom and bust in Modern, doing a little bit of mulliganing. Well, I guess we keep this. All right. Artifact land to the bottom. This hand is not great. We'll see what our opponent's doing. I mean, I guess Liquimetal Torque into Fury on turn 4 is something, but this hand's like super slow. Oh God. When you see your opponent aggressively lead on an MDFC, that's usually a pretty good sign that they are like Belcher or some other unfair deck. I mean, I guess our land destruction could give us a plan, but I feel like those decks are probably tricky. All right, definitely Belcher. Turn Timber Symbiosis. Are we dead? So next turn we're playing a Mana Rock. Oh my God. Oh my, maybe we're dead right now. What are we playing, Commander? Opponent, Ritual, Belcher. Oh my God. Thank you, Magic Gods. Thank you, Magic Gods. Sometimes the Magic Gods smile upon their children and give them the abrade that they desperately need. Ooh, wow, this is getting even better. Actually, it's even better than that. We get to play a Plains. We get to play Liquimetal Torque. And now we get to blow up their land. Boom. Flagstone's red source. Get a land. Okay, wow. We went from potentially being dead on turn 3 to being super far ahead in like one top deck. That Abrade top deck was so clutch. I mean, I guess our opponent didn't end up having the third land anyway. Well, I mean, go Fury. I mean, 3/3 double strike. That's a clock. That's 3 turns, opponent. And our opponent's deck probably does not have an answer for it. Wow. All right. Go boom bust. So Chalice on 2 is sort of relevant. Pithing Needle's definitely relevant, although we probably got to leave it in the sideboard. I don't know if we change a single thing. I mean, I think this is what we got. Run it back, see if we can do that again. On to match number 2, or round number 2, game number 2 against Belcher. We're gonna keep this. It's not the, oh boy, drawing the Emrakul, of course, right on cue. Big Mama Emrakul, opponent. Turn Timber. Are we gonna do this again? Are you actually gonna kill us, or are you just gonna play your Belcher? If you actually kill us, that's fine. Okay, this time they're actually gonna kill us. Well, sometimes you make a land drop and die. Wow, that's just kind of the nut draw for Belcher. That is literally the fastest they can win now. Turn 2. It does take double Ritual, exactly Iron Crag Feet, exactly Belcher, 2 lands in hand. So 6 of your 8 cards have to be pretty specific, and most of them don't have redundancy. The Rituals do, but it's not like you have more than one Belcher, have more than one Iron Crag Feet. So you just kind of hope for the best. On to game 3, we're on the play, which is good. We're gonna keep this. One of the tricks, I got the Emrakul again. One of the tricks in this matchup is our opponent, I don't believe, can play any lands. Because if they play a real land, it fizzles their Belcher win. It's possible they have one in their sideboard and they brought it in. We'll see. That would make us sad. I actually want to look it up and see if I actually want to see if Belcher decks typically, I've got by that once in my life. They don't usually play it. All right, we're going to play Sacred Foundry tapped. So our hope is blow up your first land, draw a 4th land, Chalice on 2. Chalice on 2 shuts down all the rituals. If our opponent next levels us and they have a land in their sideboard, then we're probably in trouble. Opponent passes. Cascading Cataracts and blow up your land draw card. Come on, opponent. I don't like this pause. Okay. Oh, no land. I mean, Chalice on 0 does do something. Let's play Chalice on 0, pass the turn. They do sometimes play packs. Opponent, tap land. The problem is we could be dead before we get Chalice on 2 down. Season Pyromancer. Discard. Oh no. Oh, we didn't draw an untapped land. Okay, we might be dead right now. Are we dead? Tap land. Okay. Oh, please untap land. No. Oh, now we're dead to everything. Well, tap land. R1 MDFC. It's literally a one of. Although we do have other lands that come into play tap, so. Well, hit you and, I guess pass the turn and hope. Do not like where we're at now. This is where we probably die. Tap land. Okay, Metamorphose. If our opponent doesn't have a Belcher, that's better. I don't even know if the Chalice on 2 plan is that good anymore. Pyromancer Ascension. Interesting. So we can kill that with Nahiri, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are we blowing up a treasure? Oh my god, this feels so bad. I think we are though. Blow up a treasure. Our opponent has so much mana, and they have this Pyromancer Ascension, so I don't think Chalice on 2 actually is helpful anymore. I think it's past that point. Last turn it would have been helpful maybe, but now I think it's just too slow. So now I think we're on the Nahiri, get rid of your Ascension and Hope plan. We got to get rid of the Ascension. Being able to Armageddon would actually be sweet, but we're 2 lands away. Opponent down to 9. Are we dead? Such a frightening matchup. Oh, all right. They just have it. Iron Crag Feet. You got the Belcher? They must. You don't cast Iron Crag Feet unless you have the Belcher. Like, what else are you going to do with it? Wow. Okay. Maybe you do cast Iron Crag Feet without the Belcher. Surprising. Well, now I guess we do Chalice on 2. Play Flagstones. Okay. Chalice on 2. So this shuts down the rituals. And now, if we draw land, we get to Armageddon, and I think we just essentially have the win guaranteed. So apparently our opponent just did not have the Belcher. Opponent pass. Come on, land. Oh, come on, land. Come on. Oh, not quite. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nahiri. Loot. Discard. Not a land. Hit ya. I really want the flawless victory. I really want the flawless victory. I don't want to win. I want to win more. Valakut Awakening to draw some cards. I mean, we get 2 looks at it thanks to Nahiri. We should find it. And I don't think we die this turn because of Chalice. I mean, if they have untap land, Ironcrag Feet, Belcher, we would die. But they can't really piece it together with other rituals. Untap land. All right, I want this Armageddon. I want this Armageddon. I want to bust them. Come on. Don't scoop. Let us blow up all your lands and then you can scoop. Casting. Oh, opponent, we have, recross pass. Okay, that's fine. So opponent's setting up for the win. However, if we could just hit an untap plan, we're going to put the biggest end to our opponent's plans of all time. Oh, I want this so much. Oh, it'd be such a good win. I think it is possible. Opponent. So recross path just lets our opponent stack their deck. So in theory, I don't know, probably with Chalice on 2, they probably can't stack it to win immediately next turn, but they should be able to stack it to win in 2 turns. Where you just put a bunch of rituals. Normally you can stack it to win in 1 turn. Like without this Chalice, our opponent stacks it so they go draw 7 with the miracle wheel. So they draw 7. Ritual, Ironcrag Feet, Belcher win. But without the ritual, thanks to Chalice, I don't think they have a 1-turn win. I think they need a 2-turn win. Or maybe they can, I guess, if they have Force of Vigor, which they probably do in their deck, then they might still have a 1-turn win. Where they could Force of Vigor away the Chalice is, and then do what we're talking about. So they probably actually can win. As long as they have Force of Vigor, which they probably do. But none of this matters. This recross path actually kind of helps because it lets us clash on. We don't really care about winning the clash, but we do care about finding untap land to bust because it would be hilarious. We get 3 shots at it. We get the clash. We get our draw for our turn. We get a Nahiri draw. If we can't find an untap land with all that, then I guess you got us. We can't just boom because of the Chalice on 2, but bust is still online. Opponent's really thinking about how to set this up. If they don't have the Force of Vigor, then they're probably just out of luck. All right, opponent sets it up. Flagstone's on top. That works. We'll keep it on top. Oh, opponent. Opponent. I got some bad news for you, friend. Float the mana, get a land. This is so brutal. So good. Yes, get the tap land. Then we will float 6 manas, and then we will cast Bust. And our opponent will cry. And we get a land. So we have 2 mana. Opponent loses everything. The best laid plans. No matter how good your plan is, it does not beat an Armageddon. Very few plans do. And no one in Modern ever expects to get Armageddon. That's not something you expect, is like, oh, they're gonna blow up all the lands. Because that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. We don't have Armageddons for some reason in Modern. So no one thinks, oh, that's how this is gonna end, is with me losing all my mana. Instead, we just get them really good, and we end with multiple mana on the battlefield. So we have indestructible lands, we got flagstones, and then we got it. So that was impressive. That is a tough matchup, and we still managed to get there. So sweet. Much ado about nothing time. We are booming and busting and blowing up lands in Modern, and well, we got no boom bust, but this hand's fine. Not a bad hand. Rust Veil Bridge, go. I mean, we can ramp into Karn. Darkseid, oh my god. Whew. Okay, Karn might be very good. Memnite. Frogmite. Well, I mean, good if we're not dead before we get it down. So I think what we do here is Sacred Foundry untapped. Liquimetal Torque. Fury. Pitch Cleansing Wildfire. We just want to keep our opponent from getting too far ahead before we play this Karn, because this Karn is hopefully just going to hardlock our opponent out of doing anything. And getting the artifacts off the battlefield keeps our opponent from snowballing into even more. All right, Urza's Saga. Land untapped. Karn-you. I mean, this should hopefully end the game. Opponent goes down to one functional mana. Oh, okay. Well, our deck full of artifact hate might be good against Affinity. Who would have thought that maybe Affinity would be a good matchup? We'll bring in the 2 Wraths. We'll go down a couple of Boom Buzz. The Boom Buzz actually don't feel that good against our opponent's deck, in all honesty. Like, they have indestructible lands. They don't need that many lands to function, so I feel like those are our worst cards. Do we want to change anything else? We could bring in, like, Timely. Timely might be worth it. Yeah, all right. Let's run it like that. I mean, that's our main plan though, is play a Karn and make you wish you didn't play against us. Karn is like ridiculously good against our opponent's deck. Oh, one of these hands. The rule is 1 land, 1 keep. We are on the draw. If we draw a red source, this hand's actually like legit because we get to Cleansing Wildfire and ramp, and we got Furies. Oh man. Oh, this is how I get my, you know what, we're doing it. 1 land, 1 keep. 1 land, 1 keep. 1 land, 1 keep. It's gonna work out. The Magic Gods love land destruction. Opponent tap land passes. All right, that's not a red source or even a land. About it. Urza's Saga, that's a good one. And a Memnite and an Ornithopter and a Thoughtcast. Come on, land. Come on, red source. No, that's not it. Well, we will pitch a Seasoned Pyromancer. Kill your stuff for now. Pass the turn. Is 1 land, 1 keep gonna betray us? Who would have thought? Who would have thought that would not work out for us? Opponent Ornithopter. And red source. Well, okay. There might have been mistakes made here. We might have, oh, the hand is so good though. The hand is so good with the red source. But yeah, now our life is over. I'm on it. I'm gonna make a couple 6/6s and tutor something up. All right. Well, okay. We learned a lesson about 1 land, 1 keep. That it always works out every time. Run it back. I probably would keep the hand again, honestly. I mean, what's the math? I mean, we can look this up. We can know. We can know if mathematically that was the right choice, or at least get the percentages. So there are 53 cards in our deck. 22 of them are lands. Our sample size is 2. And we need 1. Boom, 66%. I mean, I guess, on the other hand, if you only include red sources, and we did kind of need a red source for a 11, 12, 13, these numbers might not be as pretty. Still 43%. So the math really wasn't bad. I mean, it didn't work out, but the math really arguably supports our decision. Well, we're going to keep this. We can't ramp into the Karn. However, we do have a bunch of removal, and we do have a Karn about it. Keeping 7, they could get off to a pretty fast start here. Still kind of want another red source for this pillage. Also, like Cleansing Wildfire would be fine, just to blow up the flagstones and ramp into the Karn. All right, let's see. What do you got, opponent? What do you got? Tap land. Passes. Well, Fury. We will not complain about a Fury past the turn. Spring Leaf Drum. Treasure Vault. Yeah, let's blow up the Spring Leaf Drum. We're just trying to keep our opponent low on artifacts, essentially. Bobble, bobble. Opponent passes. That's not a red source. Well, we will pass the turn. Opponent untaps. The Karn would be game. Memnite. Thought Monitor. Draws 2. Darksteel Citadel. Sojourner's Companion. Wow. Magic Gods, come on now. Takes a peek. So we get to blow up one of these. But now the Karn is too slow even if we get to it. Opponent passes. Draws an extra card. We just cannot for the life of us catch a break at the moment. Pass the turn. Oh, the most freest of wins available matchup-wise. And our deck just says no. No, no, no. Opponent cracks, gonna draw more cards. I can't believe we're losing to this deck. I mean, the last one's understandable. The 1 land, 1 keep not working out. That even though the math, I think, supports the decision, it's not 100%. This one, though, is brutal because, wow. Opponent gonna draw a bunch more cards. This one's brutal because all we needed to do is draw any land. And our opponent is, wow, okay. Well, opponent is running really well. We are running really poorly. And I believe this is just the end of this game. Wow, that's unlikely. Not a land, and we will scoop it up. Maybe the Magic Gods do not like land destruction. We lost a literally unlosable matchup. Wow. Much brew about nothing time. We are booming and busting and also maybe well, actually, So we're on the play. Turn 1 flagstones, turn 2 legend rule flagstones, turn 3 cleansing wildfire flagstones. Maybe this is actually fine. And if we just draw a red source, it's even better. Then we can just wildfire on turn 2. And I know Emrakul looks bad in hand, but we have Seasoned Pyromancer, so we can discard it and shuffle all of our flagstones, I guess, back in. So we can just keep drawing flagstones forever. All right, flagstone. We really cannot get away from this one Emrakul. I swear to God. No matter what we do, we're just always going to end up drawing this. The single one of that we don't even ever, we never want to draw. We never, ever want to draw Emrakul in this deck. In somehow we draw it pretty much every game. All right, opponent, Misty Rainforest. And, all right, more Cleansing Wildfires. Well, keep the Flagstones. Unfortunately, the land that we get comes into play tap, so we cannot Cleansing Wildfire this turn. But we can try next turn. About it. Gonna crack the Misty. Gonna get an island. Going to, okay, Living Endus. Interesting. So this might mean we want to pitch this Fury for no value. Oh, actually what we really want is just the Seasoned Pyromancer to discard stuff. Oh God, another Fury. All right, well, 1-2. Cleansing Wildfire the Flagstones. Yes, we would like to use the ability. We'll get a Mountain. Yes, we would like to use the ability. Oh, I think we're gonna pitch one Fury. This matchup is so weird. All right, we're gonna pitch a Fury for no value, just to get it in the graveyard, discarding the Abrade, which doesn't do a ton. So this means if our opponent does Living End this turn, we get back the Fury and kill the Curator and can block the Architects. I know it looks weird to do that to ourselves, but I think it's worth it. And then next turn, maybe we can Season Pyromancer and just discard another. Are they just, oh, they're just gonna go for it. Okay, well, this is fine. This might actually be good for us. So our opponent's gonna Shardless Agent. They do get to control the top, oh, they opponent chose not to do it. Okay, weird, but sure. Oh, that we like. We're gonna cast Chalice of the Void on 0. We're gonna play Season Pyromancer, make some dorks. Not sure we want to discard the Emrakul yet though. Discard. All right, more Chalices. We'll pass the turn. Wow, I can't believe our opponent Shardless Agent no Living End. I mean, they kind of had to because it was going to be worse for them than it was for us, but an opponent scoops it up. Now we have the Chalice of the Void, and that makes things worse for our opponent. The bad news for us is our sideboard plan isn't great. Sanctifier might be worth it because in general, targeted removal is pretty bad against our opponent's deck. Our Boom Bust are also probably not great. The Wraths, I think, are decent. Our Graveyard Hate, I think we mostly want to leave in the sideboard for Karn. We could bring in maybe one piece of Graveyard Hate and leave the rest in the sideboard. On the other hand, like, our Abrades can kill anything. The problem is, even if we're killing anything with an Abrade, thanks to Liquid Metal Torque, it's still not that good. Yeah, Boom, Land Destruction doesn't seem very good, especially on the draw. Something like this. We'll keep one Abrade. The problem is, if Living End is doing their thing, they have so many creatures that killing one of them, even if this is Terminate with Liquid Metal Torches, isn't super relevant. All right, run it like that. Well, we want Chalices, we want our Tormod's Crypt. Otherwise, I guess Furies. It's really funny that super counterintuitive line of just like pitching Furies for literally no value is so actually successful against Living End. Like with the Fury in the graveyard, it makes their Living End plan so much worse. Well, we got a Chalice, we will keep this. Cycles Curator, opponent, going to grow, okay. Well. Hopefully we draw another Chalice of the Void. Yeah, that is scary. Chalice off the top in 3, 2, 1, maybe. Chalice, please. Tormod's Crypt also acceptable. Either one. We will accept either. This might be a problem. Passes, not a Chalice of the Void. Well, in that case, play the bridge past the turn. I mean, we do get a redraw with Cleansing Wildfire. And Chalice and Tormod's Crypt are both free, so if we hit them, we can cast them. So we get 2 draws. But we basically need to hit one of those probably this turn, or we're gonna be pretty dead. Fury wouldn't be the worst. Oh, okay, Day of Judgment's actually interesting. Day of Judgment potentially gives us a way to survive a Living End. Yes, we will grab some lands. We will grab a land, Nahiri. All right, Nahiri's not great. I mean, it is our finisher, but it's not great at the moment. All right, well, do a little ramping past the turn. The Wrath is nice. Opponent could definitely have Force Negation. We'll see. We're hoping our opponent has to sorcery speed Cascade with like Shardless Agent, and then we can Day of Judgment, hopefully dodge Force Negation. That would be the dream. I mean, I'm assuming since our opponent knows we have Chalice and stuff, they gotta have the forces in their deck. Well, maybe. Oh wait, never mind. They have a Grief. I don't even know what I'm talking about. If they Cascade, they get the Grief, and the Grief gets rid of, yeah, the Day of Judgment. Now Chalice isn't good. So I guess we gotta draw. Oh boy. Yeah, this Grief, I forgot about the Grief problem. So I guess we need another Wrath. Yeah, opponent takes the sweeper. Well, that's not good for us. Opponent passes. Oh my god, we did draw another Wrath. Okay. That was pretty lucky. Well, let's see if they got Force Negation, but we only have 2 Wraths in the deck after sideboarding. Feeling the second one is super unlikely, but the problem is, even if we do this, and our opponent can potentially just Cascade again. Their deck has a lot of Cascade spells. Wrath of God. No Force? No Force. All right, well, not dead yet. Pass the turn. All right, now no more cascading, please. Opponent untaps. You can see the play draw difference. Like, we had our best card in Chalice, but our opponent was on the play, so we couldn't get it down, and they got to grief us. Opponent passes. Upkeep say, yeah, here it comes. And this time we are actually out of outs. Like, we don't have any Wraths left. Karn Bridge is too slow. All right, well, we're on the play for game 3, which is big. Run it back. All right, we get to play first, and we got a Tormod script we will keep. Tormod script, go. Botanical Sanctum. I mean, they definitely are going to have answers to the Tormod script. Sure, gonna take something. I don't know, they'd probably take Boom Bust, I guess, could be annoying for them. We can't really cast it this turn anyway, unless we draw Flagstones. I think we had to play this first though because of specifically grief. Like, if this gets Thoughtseize and we're stuck on 1 land, we might just not play Magic, period, this game. Well, I take Cleansing Wildfire. Interesting. Well, come on, Flagstones of Turkir. Come on, that would be the best draw. Then we get to just blow up a land right now. Well, all right, Rustville Bridge, go. I mean, the Tormod script should buy us time at least. Next turn we can try to blow up a land. If our opponent force negations that, then I think that's okay. At least that's a force out of our opponent's hand. And then maybe there's a world where we can start Nahiri creatures into the graveyard in case our opponent can deal with this and still try to living end. Fire Bluff Canale and passes. Well, all right, let's see if we got a counter. Ooh, Karn 2. We are gonna need to draw another land at some point. Probably blow up, I guess, probably the green source. They need that for either of their Cascade spells. All right, play the land, pass the turn. Well, if we can draw an untapped land and start playing Planeswalkers, I'm really gonna like where we are here. More booms are fine too. Just keep blowing up lands, although we sideboard a bunch of them out. About it. Misty Raid Forest and land off the top, untapped variety, please. That works. Sacred Foundry, untapped. Play 8 Nahiri. Okay, opponent cycles. You're gonna lead on the Nahiri because we have 2 of them. So if our opponent Force of Negations 1, we're kind of okay with that. Breeding Pool untapped. Opponent seems to be cycling for a Force, maybe? Resolves. Well, take it up. Discard Nahiri. There's the Flagstones. Well, pass the turn. Well, this is pretty good. Having the Tormod script, even if our opponent has an answer, at least we get to wipe the graveyard, and even that's pretty big. Opponent. And we're 2 turns away from Emrakul, so there's a Foundation Breaker. Let's see if they stack their triggers properly. They do. All right, so, well, get your graveyard. Opponent. Well, if they can't deal with this Nahiri, I think it's just going to beat them. Plays a land. We draw a mountain. Well, we will take up Nahiri. Discard the mountain. Flagstones. Karn? Do you have the force now? No. Take down Karn. Get Chalice on 0. Oh, I think we got him. Cycles. So now our opponent, I don't know what they do now. They need to deal with the Chalice, and they also have to stop this Nahiri from ultimating because a hasty Emrakul attack is going to beat them. Opponent's going to grieve for Seasoned Pyromancer, which we're actually going to find with having in the graveyard. Sure. But I mean, our opponent's big problem is a hasty spaghetti monster annihilating away their board. Opponent cycles. I mean, I guess we can just F6, Steam Vents, untapped. Wow, just running out the Shardless Agent. And opponent scoops it up. Well, that went pretty well. Maybe the Living End is kind of a good matchup for us, which is actually good news. It is a pretty top tier deck at the moment. Well, we'll take it. Sweet, sweet. Much ado about nothing time. We are booming and busting in Modern this week. Playing some Boros Boom Bust Land Destruction. Well, we tried 1 land, 1 keep. We will mulligan this time. All right, this one we will keep. Hand's not bad. We are up against Luriz, which probably means land destruction. Or probably means hand destruction. Discard. I'll put a Fury to the bottom, I guess. Well, we will see. I mean, if we don't get hit by a Thoughtseize, Boom Busting on turn 2 is really good, getting our opponent's only land. Opponent untaps. Polluted Delta. Cracks it. Well, looks like we're getting Thoughtseized. Opponent, Watery Grave, untapped down to 17. Well, Inquisition. That actually does nothing. Okay. Well, that we will accept. Opponent had the wrong discard spell for this for this moment in history. Okay, opponent. Whiffs. Flagstones. Blow up your land with a little boom action. That went well. Dodging the Thoughtseize is huge. So we get a Sacred Foundry. We put our opponent back to 1 mana. We pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Bloodstained Mire passes. I'll play the land. Play a Seasoned Pyromancer. Do some discarding. Do some drawing. If on lands pass the turn. Oh, we have 2 really good 4-mana Planeswalkers. It would be nice if we could start casting them. Opponent. It's going to be harder for our opponent to sit back on counters with us actually having a somewhat reasonable clock. Opponent. Steam Vents. Untap. Wow. All right, opponent's kind of killing themselves. Do we draw land? No. I'll go to combat. Attack you. I mean, I assume our opponent's got to counter anything we cast. So I think they probably just counter the Seasoned Pyromancer, but we got to cast it. Seasoned Pyromancer. All right, so here's, well, opponent's thinking about it. All right, so there's the counter spell. Sure. But opponent's down to 10 and they're behind on board by quite a bit. Polluted Delta. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat. Attack you. We cannot draw land number 3 to save our life, or land number 4. Soaring Thought Thief. Abrade it. Hit ya. Down to 6. Opponent is going to pull ahead on lands. Even after we blew one up, opponent taps. Land. Yeah, it's kind of crazy our opponent has more lands than us. And we're the land destruction deck that is just not able to draw lands. Opponent passes. Hey! Okay, it's super late, but it is technically a Magic the Gathering land card. Well, we will go to combat. We will attack you. Opponent has 8 around in the lock and drops to 3. And we will play a Seasoned Pyromancer as a counter spell. Well, I mean, opponent is doing their best to do the sit back on counter plan. Opponent untaps. Land. Tapped. 2 cards in hand. Opponent pass it. We kind of just want to draw land to get back Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. All right, go to combat. Attack you. Opponent fires away the tokens. Karn. Really? All right. All right, so opponents cast every counter spell in existence. They untap. They can get Lurrus, but they can't play Lurrus. Opponent gets the Lurrus. Now we will play Nahiri. No. Wow! What a top deck. Okay, opponent immediately top decks another counter spell. They play the Lurrus. Lurrus can get back Soaring Thought Thief. Yup. Opponent passes. Well, we will play a Fury. Kill the Lurrus. Pass the turn. Can our opponent continue to chain together the top decks they need? Inquisition, that's a whiff. Opponent, did you top deck a removal spell? I mean, we've gone through 3 drowned in the locks, 2 counter spells. Did we finally run our opponent out? Hi. The answer appears to be yes. Good God. All right, so, I mean, I guess Chandra is good because it is uncounterable. That seems pretty relevant against our opponent's deck. Maybe Sanctifier, if we can get it down. What is bad in this matchup? Probably Pillage. Pillage seems like it's just gonna get countered. And I don't even know if Chalice is worth it. Like Chalice on 2, maybe? Actually, maybe the Liquid Metal Torques. Maybe we just run it like that. All right, give it a shot. Well, we know our opponent has nigh infinite counters. We experienced many of them that game. Many. All right, well, we'll keep this. Opponent, keeping 7. Urborg into Bobble and cracks it. Opponent passes. And okay, fancy pants. Flashes it in to mill what they saw on top. Well, tap land. Go. Opponent. Graven Karens. And Inquisition. Okay, takes Pyromancer. Even more discard, I assume? I don't think our opponent had to tap that way because they have Urborg. All right, another Thieves Guild Enforcer. Well, I guess that means we're... Sorry, friend. Hit the Emrakul. Well, this probably means we're going to Fury. Oh, Casabobble. It's us. Sure. Opponent passes. We draw Nahiri, Sunbait Canyon, Liquid Metal Torque for some Rampage, Fury, pitch Valakut Awakening, clear away the Thieves Guild Enforcers. I mean, we do know that Lurrus is eventually going to get them back. But in the meantime, opponent has no creatures. All right, well, pass the turn. Opponent draws with the bauble. Corrects the Bloodstained Mire, Watery Grave. I mean, if they get Lurrus in hand here, that means we do get to resolve Nahiri, which is pretty nice. Opponent passes. Now, Sacred Foundry, untapped. We don't get to pay life here. Play a Karn. Opponent, do we have counter number 1? No. Well, tick down Karn. Grab. So opponent probably has a flash threat. Yeah, we'll just take the coding. Pass the turn. Show us your Soaring Thought Thief. Hopefully our opponent just keeps milling the Emrakul. Okay, they have an Unholy Heat. And a Soaring. Okay, so opponent got it all. Unholy Heat for the Karn and the Soaring Thought Thief goes to combat. How's it gonna be close? Robber of the Rich. Interesting. We don't actually have a super clean answer for that. Opponent whiffs with the robber, mills some cards, extirpates the Karn. All right, well, opponent is 1,000,000% out of cards. 1,000,000%. No cards in hand. That is over with. We'll play a Nahiri. We're going to snipe the Robber of the Rich. Whether or not, well, we'll see. Whether or not our opponent being out of cards is enough, that remains to be seen. Opponent shouldn't be able to kill our Nahiri this turn, but we're gonna need more because Lurrus is gonna come and start looping baubles for infinite card advantage. All right, here comes Lurrus. Yeah, opponent goes to combat. Milling the Emrakul would be good. Opponent hits the Nahiri. Mills nothing relevant. Draws an extra card. Take up Nahiri. Discard Liquid Metal Coating. That isn't a Braid. I'll play Sunbait Canyon. I mean, I guess we just Cleansing Wildfire. Yeah, let's Cleansing Wildfire. Get a land, draw a card. Okay, it's another land. Well, pass the turn. I mean, the Braid is nice. The Braid is theoretically our Lurrus answer. Opponent, land, and Lurrus, and Thieves Guild Enforcer. Well, I mean, kill the Lurrus. We will see. Opponent mills some cards. Oh, we really would have liked that Fury. It's Nahiri, mills us. No Emrakul. Yup. Opponent pass. Fury would be pretty nice. More lands. Well, tick up Nahiri. Discard a mountain. Cleansing Wildfire Part 2. I guess blow up Rustvale Bridge. Draw a card ramp. Last land. A Braid. I mean, I think we should probably kill the Thought Thief and play the land past the turn. I mean, right now the Nahiri is breaking even with this Thought Thief. Eventually the Emrakul will hopefully be milled and shuffle back in. Opponent gonna attack the Nahiri. The bad news is, if our opponent finds another extirpate, we might not have a way to win the game. Oh my god, even more lands. Nahiri. Even more. Wow. Okay. All the lands in the world. Take up Nahiri. Discard the Sacred Foundry. Ooh, Sanctifier. Sweet. Sanctifier, in fact. Do you have a counter? All right. Opponent's last card is a counter. Now, Sacred Foundry. Untapped. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Oh, actually, we didn't have to play the untap, did we? I don't think so. Opponent goes to combat. I mean, sooner or later, the Emrakul is going to get milled. That is a thing that's going to happen. Not yet, but someday. Opponent hits us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure we have any lands left in our deck. So he is Pyromancer. Make some dorks. Untap. Let's crack the land to draw a card. Chalice is interesting. I don't know what we put it on. I'll go to combat. Attack ya. Opponent takes it to 15. Sanctifier. Top decked another one. Okay, opponent did top deck another one. Well, we will take up Nahiri, discard the Chalice, kill the Thought Thief. Okay, we're making what a weird way for this game to go. Weird, but I think we're finally making progress. Opponent has no threats. We have a Nahiri. We still have an Emrakul that we will find eventually. Well, this was not some clean and easy blow up all your lands game, but I mean, I think we're going hopefully in a good position now. Opponent passing. I mean, so opponent could find another Unholy Heat, I guess. I only found something. Prismari command and makes us loot. So I guess they're trying to mill us out. Well, we will take up Nahiri. Discard Flagstones. Well, there is the Emrakul. Okay, hit ya. Well, now we need the Nahiri to discard the Emrakul to shuffle everything back in. Oh, rogues. We can make more Seasoned Pyromancer tokens, which isn't bad. We're going to be shuffling in a ridiculous amount of lands. All right, well, in that case, I think we can make these Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. This should hopefully be good. So I gotta Thoughtseize the Emrakul. There is no Mayon Thoughtseize. Opponent's out of cards, so we don't gotta worry about the extra pay. And I think that might do it. What a wild match. Emrakul shuffles it all back in. Maybe there's some value to just playing a random Emrakul in your deck. It seems like we've had a few games lately where just like we randomly have an Emrakul and just randomly have an Emrakul is super huge. Oh, we're going all the way. Bust? Armageddon in Modern? It's gonna work. Oh my goodness, we cast the bust mode against rogues, one of the most annoying decks in the world to play against. Go to combat, and now we got it for sure. There's no way. Oh, Armageddon saved by the bust. This deck's normally booming, but when you get the chance to bust, it's pretty sweet. Especially here, it's insanely sweet. Well, take up, no value, pass the turn. And now there's no way our opponent can rebuild before we kill him. Opponent passes. We untap. Take up Nahiri, discard Nahiri. Go to combat, hit you down to 2. Opponent passes. Opponent said they were sticking it out for the content. Which I appreciate because you don't get to see the Armageddon mode very often. We got there. Now that we get there, flawless victory. Through a million counters against rogues. Oh, so good. That makes all the heartache totally worth it. Sweet. So what did we learn this week about Boom Bust Boros in Modern? And record-wise, it was a little weird. So you probably noticed we started off with a deck building pump. We jumped into a league. I tried to add better basics to the deck, but I forgot to remove the old basics. So we had this 62 card special with more lands than we wanted. We did end up winning against Living End in the first round, but I didn't want to play an entire league with a deck that had way too many lands. So I ended up doing some 2-player matches, and we went 4-1 with the deck overall after that. The deck felt really sweet. We got multiple flawless victories. It just does really powerful land destruction-y type things. If you like blowing up your opponent's lands, you're just like trying to get flawless victories, keeping your opponents on very little resources, this is actually a pretty legit way to get it done. And I think our plan for finishing the game is actually really solid. The Nahiri finish solves some problems land destruction decks have had in the past. We've seen some like Boros land destruction decks that really don't have a legitimate plan for closing out the game quickly. And if you're trying to blow up your opponent's lands, much like Blood Moon decks, you really want that fast finish because sure, you can, boom a land here, bust a land there, whatever in the early game, but eventually your opponent's going to draw more lands and they're going to rebuild. So if you can't actually progress the game and kill your opponent, all of that land destroying that you do in the early turns kind of goes to waste. Nahiri getting Emrakul is just a really quick way to close out the game. It's only 2 pluses to get to the ultimate, and then the ultimate getting Emrakul is pretty game winning. It was hilarious how many times we just randomly drew our one Emrakul, but we got plenty of ways to discard it. Seasoned Pyromancer and Nahiri, so it's not the end of the world, it's just mostly a dead draw. But the deck felt really good. It was really fun. We managed to beat a lot of pretty solid decks along the way. So if you like blowing up lands, you like trying to get flawless victories, you like annoying your opponents, keeping them from playing Magic, making them miserable, seems like a pretty sweet option for the Modern format. So that's Boom Bust Boros. That's our bunch of brew for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.